we've spoken about sort of from the lens of being a person of color and being in the UAE, how has that, like you said, are you the first person to graduate a college degree in your family?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So yeah.
Has that sort of, what's the perception when you say you're living back home, you're living in the UAE to people back home? Like, what's their, like, what do you think is their perception? Do you think they're like, yo, this guy must be making like
Yeah, no,
a
of course.
truckload of cash? You know what I mean? So like, it's like, what?
And it doesn't help that, I think both of us, like, we like to travel and
Right.
we do like quick trips here, there.
Yeah, right. So,
So
you like
people
to show,
see
and like
that.
the thing is, we like to show it on our Instagrams, right?
I
So
know.
people see it, because if people didn't see it, then people wouldn't know about it, and then people wouldn't be able to associate certain actions to what we're doing on social media, right?
Exactly.
And what they're not seeing is how hard we're working in the background, working into the late hours of the night on this podcast or on our jobs, and having to balance being a brother, a family member, an employee, a podcast creator, right? And they don't see all that. So all they see is the glam on Instagram, and they think that everything's gravy here, and then we don't have any of our own problems, right?
Yeah.
So how has that affected your, and again, we're gonna get real personal here. In your family, would you say that you're the most financially successful person? Or at least at the top?
I'll probably say, and plus no responsibilities as far as having like a family and kids. Like, yeah, definitely. Like, I'm in a position to just do certain things. Blessed to be in a position to just do certain things that some of my family members can't.
Okay. So, and has that affected your relationship in any way, living here, good or bad, by you living here and there being distance and sort of like having this perception of like, Mike is always traveling. We know he does pretty great for himself. Like, do you feel like that's been a challenge in having to reset expectations of certain people back home?
For the most part, no. So that expectation there is like, my family has been supportive and like, you're living your life and that's great for you. And, you're doing well, and my family's doing well as well also. Certain occasions, it's just, you'll get that. Yeah, you can do it. You was just in and what is it? And you was just in Paris. Like, it's all right. And it's like, yeah, I was in Paris because I wanted to be in Paris, and it was certain things that I did, and to make that happen. But that doesn't mean everything is a go or everything is a green light. Right. They understand, like, yeah, since I went to Paris, I need to save a bit. Now,
right. Exactly. Maybe you need to cut off on some Koya outings.
Exactly.
That I know you like. And do you feel like, man, like, before I ask the next question, I feel like for me personally, I remember one family member told me my first expat stop was London, right?
Yeah.
And I remember when I asked this person, should I go? The person's like, run, right? Sort of run, not in a bad way, but sort of get a perception of what everything is like by being separated from the situation.
Okay.
And for me, that made me realize who my true family and my true friends were.
Okay.
Right. And sometimes they were just family members because of proximity. Sometimes they were family members just because it was convenient. And for me, I live by saying that friendship doesn't mean anything when it's convenient. Being a family member to me doesn't mean anything if it's convenient.
Yeah.
Right. I want to see who pulls up for me when I really need it.
Yeah.
Right. The same way I show up for people when they really need it. Right.
Exactly.
So I feel like being an expat, and again, I feel in a way, I feel this way. I feel like I got drafted into the league. Right. I feel like I got drafted into the league because let's think about the statistics. And I don't have any raw data on this. So again, I'm noting this. I don't know any raw data.
Yeah.
I feel, how many persons of color graduate college in the U.S., right? We don't know that number.
We gotta Google that.
Probably a small amount.
Small amount.
Right?
Yep.
How many people even make it to corporate America with a college degree who's a person of color? Probably even a smaller amount.
Yep.
How many people with a college degree who's in corporate America make it out the U.S. to go live, be an expat?
Even a smaller amount.
Right? So I'm pretty sure there's 450 basketball players in the NBA, plus the G League guys. That's probably up, right? Or whatever.
Yep.
There's not that many of us outside of the U.S. So why don't we ever hold ourselves up to that same light? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, my family and maybe some family members may see me that way. Some of my friends may see me that way, right?
Yeah.
So they be like, man, this guy has really done a lot. We probably had a better chance and ended up in the wrong side of the road, at least from my own experiences. I could have, one bad mistake I wouldn't be here. Easy, right?
Yeah.
So I think for me, because of all that pressure, I feel like sometimes being the first person who graduated from college being the first person who graduated from graduate school, being the first person who, maybe not in corporate America, but I wouldn't, to be as financially successful as I've been, to be able to be blessed to do the things that I can do and be in the health to be able to do them. I feel like sometimes you have that pressure when you head back home of being, man, I don't want to really split the bill with everybody. I feel like sometimes if they want to come and hang out with me, maybe, like I should foot the bill. But if you keep doing that.
Now, a question. Do you feel a certain responsibility that you like, all right, let me
I sometimes feel guilty.
And
I sometimes feel guilty about my own success.
why
Right?
is that?
And the reason I do that is because, I may have grown up with other people in my life, and maybe they didn't get to the level that I've gotten to. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that because of where they're at right now, that means they're a failure or whatever. But I just feel like because we all had the same opportunities, the same resources, and because I maybe took advantage of some opportunities, I wanted everybody. I want to elevate everybody. This is not fun for me if I can't share with people,
exactly.
right? Like I want to be able to share with everyone that I've grew up with and that I love and that I enjoy having time with, right? I want to enjoy with the people who were day ones, like day ones. You know what I mean? Like so, for me.
I was gonna say, I think out here you experienced it quick that what success is not even like a thing or a place, but being able to enjoy life comfortably with the people that you love and share those experiences.
Right. And I think that people oftentimes here in the GCC or here in Dubai, especially, or in the UAE, they get caught up with keeping up with the Joneses. And you know what? One of my mentors told me, keeping up with the Joneses will make you go broke. Stay in your own lane. And don't look to the left. Don't look to the right. Don't merge unless you feel like don't merge into anybody else's lane. You keep running your own race. And I feel like I always constantly live by the rules. And I'm not gonna go ahead and pretend that I don't have temptations. I don't have vices. We all know how much I love closet too, right?
Yeah.
Like that's well documented.
That's the closet, man.
Right? So, but I've always been able to sit down and like stop and be like, look, I'm not gonna. This is my lane. Like you're in there. I don't need to buy a Porsche or buy a Rollie because to make me feel successful.
Yeah.
I know I'm good. Like I don't need anybody else to validate that, right? Like I came from the trenches. I got it out the mud. So nobody over here, just because they got a Rollie or they got a car that may be rented or Rolex that may be fake. I don't know if it's fake or real, right? But they're not gonna make me feel in a certain way or make me feel less because of that.